You are tuned into Wisdom Pills with Dr. Vincent Oppong, inspiring you to become all of you. Now stay tuned for another inspiring episode that will move you to become all you were born to be.
How are you doing, greatness? I believe you are doing fabulous, as I am doing right here. Today we are going forward to pill number 12. Pill number 12, chapter 3, perseverance. We are talking about perseverance. And today I want to tell you a story about one of the greatest stories that has ever happened in the history of the earth. And I'll take one from the 20th century or maybe the 19th century, and then another one from the biblical age. And I believe that after these two stories, you are going to come out of anything that holds you back. And so pill number 12 says that if you don't subdue your fear, you become its prey. If you don't subdue your fear, you become its prey. And to go any further or to explain this particular pill, I want to tell you a story about Winston Churchill. I believe that it is, he's one of the people that most of you have read about. He was a British Prime Minister, but he was in politics from 1908. And being in politics, he was very much involved in the decisions that were taken in Britain. And today I just want to give you a quick story about how he became great. Being in politics, he made some decisions that were not right. But in the midst of all these mistakes and flaws in his duties as a minister of the state, or even as a prime minister, as a member of parliament in Britain, there was one thing that stood out. It was an act of boldness, an act of fearlessness. He literally became the source of encouragement for the hopeless and the hesitant Britons. In the days of the Nazis, when the Nazis were the superpowers and were wiping away people like chickens, they kind of, when they speak, everybody keeps quiet. It's like modern day America when we say that when America sneezes, the world catches cold. That was the state of the Germans in those days. But this man, Winston Churchill, stood up in the midst of the odds. He actually even made his way to go to Germany to find out what was actually going on, to see the evil things that were going on in the country. And with all this, when his cabinet were trying to stand down, when they were trying to push across a policy of appeasement so that they would stand out or stand aside and allow the Nazis to do their own thing, this man Winston Churchill said no. He was not going to buy that. He never stood down, which kicked the Neville Chamberlain out for him to come on power. And when he came on power, he became the face of the British Army. He became the boldness, the courage that the people of Britain needed in order to move forward. And his courage and his boldness, his fearlessness, enabled them to defeat the nepotism that was going on in the German Empire at the time. My whole point is this: fear is an enemy, and if you do not subdue your fear, you will become its prey. If this man had not overcome the fear of the Nazis, Britain and the whole world would have become the prey of the Germans. We don't even know what the world history would have been if this man did not stand up. Because in those days, they were the only people who were able to stand up and defeat the nepotism that was going on. And so my whole point is this: fear was, if you do not subdue your fear, you become its prey. There was a man, a young boy, 17 years old, who also stood when the kings were running away, when men of power and authority were coiling up, when men were running away. This 17-year-old boy stood up and said, "No, I will not stand up. I will not stand here to watch these things go on." And I'm talking about the boy David. The Bible says that David stood up when he came and saw that Goliath was raining insults and curses upon the people of Israel. The man stood up and said that, "No, how dare you defile the armies of the God of Israel?" He said that, no, I will not allow my fear to subdue me. I will not allow the fear of the king to subdue me. I will not allow the fear of my brothers to subdue me. I will not allow the fear of this whole country to defeat me. But for me, I know that there is something on my inside. Beloved, I want you to understand that courage is not the absence of fear, but being able to push forward in the midst of your fears. That is why in this chapter we are talking about perseverance. And so I want to draw the docket here today. Every one of us has something we are afraid of. Each and every one, the great and the mighty that we read about, that we have heard of, they all had something they were afraid of. And yet, in the midst of their fears, they did not allow their fear to subdue them, but they stood up and faced life, knowing that victory will definitely be theirs if they don't give up. And so go, face your fears. Don't become the prey to anything that you are afraid of. God bless you. And once again, I believe in your future. Have a great and a fearless day. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Wisdom Pills with Dr. Vincent Oppong, the voice of inspiration. See you on the next episode of Wisdom Pills. And please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on becoming all you were born to be.